advertising is a very fast culture. There's no time for you to make someone sit and understand and go through the rules and everything. There's nothing like that. Like they say that, either you've given your life completely or you just step out of that life. One headline I would write 100 times. Who gives you money for thinking of crazy ideas? Advertising gives you money for thinking of crazy ideas, right? In advertising, you have your client filter, you have your boss filter, you have your colleagues filter. You have those three filters which you work with. Bosses in my journey said that, did you make a plan over a weekday? Did you plan whatever other thing on a weekday? Do you realize how difficult that is in advertising? Be the shoulder that you're looking for, right? You be the shoulder.
So I'm your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Ms. Symbol. She is group head at Isobar. She believes in creating believable brand stories in unbelievable ways. It's a pleasure to welcome Ms. Symbol to our show. Welcome, Symbol.
Thank you, Gaurav. I'm delighted to be here. Thanks a lot for welcoming me.
Tell us about your childhood and your favorite hobbies you still enjoy.
Childhood has always been fun. I wish I had this story where I would talk about certain hardships that I faced, and in honestly, childhood felt unadulterated. When we were kids, there was absolutely zero restrictions to kind of go have fun. We were staying in a society where we had kids from different walks of life, and you just come together and do all kind of shenanigans that you expect kids to do. In terms of a hobby, I wouldn't say that it's something that instilled in me when I was a really young kid, but something maybe say 11th or 12th. There was this woman near my house and she would cook like amazing food. She was from up the hills. So I learned all that from her, and I would just watch her and she would keep talking and I would talk and I would watch her cook. And so it's a hobby that now that I look back on, I started pretty early.
So you were never pressurized to become a doctor?
I come from a South Indian family. In Kerala, you have like 5-6 professions. Either you're a doctor or a nurse or something, related to the science field, right? Yeah, but I forced my parents to not let me take science. It was the other way around. They were like, oh my God, what will you do if there is no... My parents forced me a lot, but I kind of gave it back to them and I said that, see, I can't do something I will fail at. I will not do something that I don't really feel good about. And this is for life, right? This is my career choice. So I went for humanities, and as scared as they were, I think now they kind of understand that it wasn't that bad a choice back then. So I'm pretty glad that, they kind of made peace with it.
So what about your schooling? Where did you complete your schooling from?
So I was in this school called Somerville. School was fun actually. I had typical all the check boxes, travel with the school bus, wake up at 6, reach there by 7. What I always respect about my school is that the teachers always pushed us. And now that I look back on all my fellow classmates from back then, all of them are doing so good in life that I kind of understand that whatever they said back then made a lot of sense now.
So what about your nature? Were you an introvert or extrovert child?
I'm pretty much an extrovert. Sometimes I feel that I need to kind of take a step back in a lot of situations, but I'll just barge into a conversation and I'll find a topic to have a conversation with. And I think that's why being in advertising helps me a lot, because you need to build that rapport with the client as well. So you drop in a joke here and there. You kind of have random conversations. So you build a rapport, and I think that, like my teacher said, it kind of helped me to, in a job where I have to connect with people, right? Where I have to present and sell my idea and for people to buy and spend time on it and get that done. So I think I'm a pretty much extrovert as a person.
So any notorious moment of your school timing that you would like to share?
It was more like not like a notorious moment. We thought it was notorious, but we got caught. So there we had newly installed cameras, and then CCTV camera was a big thing in schools back then. It just started, and we went to the camera and we started talking to the camera. Like so there was this rumor in our class that the cameras don't work. Okay, and we were like, of course they don't work. We will prove. So a friend of mine and I, we went in front of the camera and we started saying things to it, like about teachers and the principal, and like this. And then say within 1 minute, we got a call from the principal, and apparently the cameras were working. and so was the sound system. So we got called, and again my teacher was really good. He said, "You go to the washroom. I'll handle this." So the other kid got caught. I got saved, but he got a notice. So I think now, if I'm not sure, I'm going to share this with my parents because they never know of this.
So what was your dream profession as a child, and how many times did it change?
It changes quite often, but I always wanted to be a writer. Always. We would go to Kerala during our summer vacation, and I would travel. We would travel in the train back then, and it's quite a long journey. If I think almost 2.5 days from Delhi to Kerala. I didn't have anything to kind of write on, so I would just write on the newspapers, the corner of the newspapers. I would write a lot of poems and random things. It took me a lot of time to kind of realize that just writing can also work, right? So I think I am right in the track when it comes to writing and whatever I want. It never changed. It was between teaching and writing, but teaching was more because I could give people just advices. Oh, this is what you need to do and all of that. But majorly, it was always been writing.
So how difficult was it to get your first job?
It's surprisingly, if I were to tell you, not at all. The first job I had was when I was in second year in college. And since then, I've been working. I've never stopped and switched from this to that. But so it wasn't really difficult. But I was really scared to go to interviews. And that's why even when when we were talking about this as a platform, I love that because nobody told me what interviews will be like, right? Nobody told me exactly what it feels. So I would go with one of my friends. So one of my friends would wait and I would just go and give an interview. They always went well, they always went well.
So what was the reaction of your parents when you told them, okay, now I have gotten a job and that though of 10,500 rupees?
They took all the credit. They're like, see, we told you not to do that course. Had you been doing that course and you wouldn't have done this. So I was in college, and obviously the 10,000 I was so excited about. I felt so responsible that I could actually contribute in whichever way to the household, feeling that, oh my God, now I'm now I'm old. My parents were very happy because, like I said, that they've been conditioned to believe that only a certain field, like a science field, is going to get you a job or is going to get you success and fame and all of that. I think my parents were pretty elated and pretty, proud to share that with others. And honestly, once they started sharing that with all our family members, it opened the path for a lot of kids in the house. I think it was a pretty proud moment for them.
So post completing your graduation, where did you start your career journey from?
I started in this company called To The New. I would travel 1.5 in an office cab each side. So I did a lot of other jobs like right after college and all, but I'm not really counting them in because I didn't stay there for a lot. And then I fell ill for a year. So for one long year, I was literally on bed rest. And after that, I started this job and, there it was a very IT-led. It's a very IT-led company. So I learned everything about corporate life from there. The pressure of, being a part of social conversations to the expectation of you as an employee in terms of discipline, something that from college to something like this, suddenly you have a schedule, you have things divided, you have, tasks in a day. I learned all the basics there. In fact, that is the only place where I was presented with an opportunity. So my project got over. I was presented with an opportunity to get into an ad agency within the bigger network.
So what all challenges you faced while starting level of your career?
Okay, I would think of advertising as my career. I would not count the content days, though they have been really good, but they weren't really challenging because I was always very strong in terms of writing. When it came to advertising, I just realized, like I said, this opportunity was presented to me and I had no idea what. I entered and I had this boss who was expecting a lot from me because, advertising is a very fast culture. There's no time for you to make someone sit and understand and go through the rules and there's nothing like that. I went, she said, write a concept. I'm like, what the hell is a concept? I'm like, oh my God, how do I write a concept? What is that? I've been asking around and she was not at work that day, And I so clearly remember this is my first day in advertising, right? And I'm running around and asking people, what is a concept? So they're like, why don't you ask your boss? I'm like, she's not here. And then I I started figuring out. And honestly, I've not really told this to a lot of people, even, the kids in my team right now. I cried. I went to after 1 month, I went to my boss, I cried and I said, I can't do this. This is not for me. Because I didn't know what to do. Nobody told me what to think, how to think, and the procedures, and it's a very fast-paced life. You have to consciously, either you're a part of it or you're not part of it. There is no middle way in advertising. So like they say that, either you've given your life completely or you just step out of that life. You can't be on the door, right? And I went to my boss and I cried and I was like, I can't do this. She's like, I'm surprised because you're doing so well. I said, am I doing well? She's like, yeah. I said, because I have no idea what am I doing here. I am just figuring out things on day-to-day basis. Those challenges, Gaurav, to be very honest, I was learning a lot without realizing. Like I said, that in advertising, that you are in or you're out, you will learn so much because you're working with so many industries, so many categories, so many products. You are learning about so many industries simultaneously. And after 1 year, when I decided to change the job, I couldn't believe it. I said, oh my God, have I learned enough to actually apply for a job, in this specific industry. So I've been very grateful to a lot of people around me, because all of us were trying to figure out what to do with it. But it was quite a hit on my ego, because here I was, the queen of content, learning, everyone appreciating me. Suddenly I've been put to this job where I had no idea what to do, right? So it was a very great learning experience for me, and I honestly then fell in love with advertising.
So you have vast experience of 8+ great years. So how is your journey till date?
It's been amazing. I think there are days when I am just like, why am I doing this job? Why didn't I take science and I do something that has, because, there is no right or wrong in this job, right? In advertising, there is no right or there is no wrong. It's a subjective field. So what happens with a subjective field is, you always have to have the right people around you for any of your idea to work. If you don't have the right people around, your idea will never fly, never see light of the day. One that. And to this constant trying, So imagine I walk into the room when one day I'm selling chocolates, and the next time I enter, I'm selling diapers. The part of this job is being so challenging that you get to work on so many things at the same time. Made me realize so much about life. You talk to any advertising person, they have a long list of advices to give you. Because, all day what we're doing is we're observing people, getting into their, behavior, understanding them, taking insights, working on ideas. I think within content writing, I'm not saying that it's not great as a profession, but I'm saying it has a certain set of limitations. The rush that you get from advertising when you think of an idea or something goes live, you're getting the reaction from people that you're getting on Twitter. It's that rush that you kind of start living for after a while.
So who is your mentor?
I have had many mentors, Gaurav, because I believed it at every stage in my life I needed to learn something new. And that person gave me that. I would also call that, some of those bosses who weren't really nice to me also as my mentors, because however their ways were to teach me, they were doing a good job. Like a boss who would give me a very hard time. She used to make me write one copy 100 times. One headline I would write 100 times. And I would feel, how can she not? I mean, obviously, I would hate her at that point of time. Like, how can she not like this? How can she not like this? This is the best line I've ever written. But she said something to me. She's like, go back to it after five minutes. Take a break, go back to it. And I did. And I didn't like it that much. You get it? And when I wrote 100, I knew the same thing to be written in, like how the same thing can be written in 100 different ways. That's what I learned there. And maybe at that stage in my life, I needed someone like that, But two people, there is a person that I have who has taught me so much. I have moved a lot of agencies with him. They keep saying that people stay in agencies for the bosses, not for the company, which is so true. I got offers from top-notch ad agencies, but with him, I left that and I went to a startup. Now, a lot of people might say, are you mad? People don't realize the potential of startups. Startups teach you so much more. You get to learn in a smaller group. You are on your own. There are no 1,000 layers for you to actually put your ideas up in the front. But having said that, have an experience with like a bigger company back then, right? And then come to a startup. But there have been a lot of people. There have been a lot of people at different stages to teach me what needs to be done.
Any action or decision you regret in your career?
I regret staying in a few places for a little too long. I tend to get comfortable, and which is something that I really keep telling people, do not, especially in advertising. What happens is new people come in, they come, see, advertising is people constantly looking for fresh ideas, right? You keep getting new people in the team for them to work on the new ideas. I regret that because I kind of feel that I got too complacent, and once you get complacent, you don't think of the best. You don't think of the best ideas. I personally, for me, this works when you're in a lot of pressure, which is always in an advertising agency, to think of really good ideas. But if you get very comfortable, and acha, this idea, this will fly. I know this client. I know my boss. You can think of anything and get away with it, right? Because like I said, it's a subjective field. So there is no right or wrong. And also, I feel that I am not saying that you should switch agencies one after the other immediately, but at least, it's not like other jobs where you stay for 5 to 10 years and you do great. I think it's very important for you to constantly work with different set of people to absorb their energy and their style of thinking, and then put it in how you do things.
So what's that one thing you love about the profession the most?
It's so unpredictable. It's like I said that I have no idea what I'm going to work on today. Who gives you money for thinking of crazy ideas? Advertising gives you money for thinking of crazy ideas, right? So this thing that you've been curbing kids from since childhood, that no, academically be strong, don't get involved in other things, don't get involved in extracurricular. Here, like in one of my organizations, he hired 2 people just because they make great meals. So imagine the kind of talent we are harboring. We are letting people play to their strengths, and I love that about advertising. I am thinking, I'm sitting with 5 other crazy people. We are thinking of any random thing and having a great time. It doesn't feel like work. It's tiring, yes, but it doesn't feel like how maths exams would feel like. And also, yes, it's open to people from any walks of life. I have so many engineers there, people who've been, left their MBBS while they were pursuing it, people who've come from we have a space for every person. If you're passionate enough for it, you can do it. That's what I really like about advertising.
So as a group head at Isobar, what are your roles and responsibilities?
Right after you become a copy supervisor, the roles kind of become about pushing your team than yourself. And in Isobar specifically, the team that I am working with, very capable set of individuals. My roles involve, of course, leading campaigns. I lead them from the point of view of, getting the brief from the client servicing team and the planner working on it. And my job involves obviously aligning the team in terms of the kind of work that we can do on it, constantly bombarding them with inspiration. I am trying very hard to be involved in ideation as much as I can, because as you move up the ladder, the problem is that the management roles take up the ideation role, and what's the fun of advertising if you can't think, right? So that helping build vision for the brand with my planner and strategy partner. So the kind of role that I'm involved in is more of of course, overlooking what the team is doing, and also guiding them in terms of how we can add zinc to a lot of ideas, helping each one of them in their own way, letting them play to the strengths. So it involves a lot of that, and obviously a lot of interaction with different team members, proactive ideas for the brands. Gaurav, since last year, the need of proactive ideas for the brands has increased a lot because this pandemic. Most of the products were not being sold last year. There was a standstill. So how do, as a brand, I keep connecting with people, so that the recall value continues. So we have been doing a lot of proactive ideas to push to the brand to say that, okay, if I'm not able to sell my product, let me keep making sure that the audience loves me and connects with my brand. So our work that way has increased, and the kind of the proactiveness of it has changed to this point where we are constantly trying to do something different on our page. So those are basically my roles and responsibilities in my current team.
So what was the craziest idea that you have worked on?
So there was this very interesting idea. See, I personally, while copywriters are supposed to adapt to every kind of a genre, I personally like ideas with a social cause. And in fact, whatever I work for, I kind of try to include that. I did this idea for this sanitary napkin. I'll tell you why it's crazy that all the sanitary napkin ads that you see right now are very similar, extremely wide background, a girl who's extremely happy. That's not how it works, right? So the idea was basically we showed a toxic relationship between a sanitary pad and a woman, and we kind of drew the analogy to actually you with a boyfriend. Imagine an abusive boyfriend that you keep going back to every month because he gives you flowers. Similarly, your plastic sanitary pads are the same. So this was for a brand that has organic pads. So the idea was to ditch, and it was called Don't Flow With It. And don't flow with the toxicity that your pad comes with. The entire team came together for this. It was liberating for the entire team to work. We pitched it to the client. The client liked it. We got like 90% there, but it never happened for XYZ a number of reasons. But I keep pitching this idea to every person, saying that we should really do this, because I kind of feel that our role as advertising people is not just to make someone buy something, but influence decision making, influence progressive thinking, right? With a cause like this, and I try to include causes. I am way more enthusiastic about campaigns with causes, campaigns with donations and stuff like that. So it may or may not fly with the client, because there are a lot of business objectives to be.
Any particular moment you would like to share in your professional journey, worst and best?
I think worst I did mention was actually in the start, when I told you that I was crying and I had no idea I'm going to do it. I think that was the worst moment. Best was when I got an award for one of these ideas. Actually, I will tell you, one of the best moments is not just in advertising. While there is an advertising moment where I got this award, and I was at the hills, and I had left the company, and they called me. It's such a sweet gesture, because they called me and they kept my name, even though I had left the company. It was one of the ideas that I worked on, but I had left the company by then. So they called me, and I was in the hills, and then I was with my friend, and I got this call, and I was like, oh my God, and I could hear, and my boss was calling. She was calling me from the award ceremony, so I could get the celebratory feels and all of that. But in terms of best moment, Gaurav, there was this opportunity that I got. I was presented to. I was very fortunate to teach these students in Doon University. I went there as a guest lecturer. I went there, I think, for 10 to 15 days, and I was teaching final year design students copywriting. I think that was one of the most fulfilling experiences. I was going back to college, but not as a student. I was going as a teacher. So it was a completely different perspective, how you look at college life. Secondly, I was very close to the age group of, like the students there, right? Not very close, but not considerable difference. I will go ahead and say that I kind of liked it, and I really want to consider that in the future, maybe to, try, teaching students. But that was, I think, a very important milestone in my career, in terms of what I can possibly do.
So any idea which was close to your heart but was equally difficult to sell to the client?
There was this idea, equally. I have tried selling this idea in 2 agencies, okay? I keep telling them, go back to the client with the same idea. And I was so disappointed to see off late I think in Sweden, some brand did it. There was this idea about water conservation, right? You have seen so many ads on water conservation. So we a very talented friend of mine and I, and he's a planner. So basically, the idea being that you keep asking people to save water, right? But the true issue in most of the villages in the country, in our country, is that it's not that people don't have water; they don't have clean water. So the problem that they have is not the water, but the saving. The saving that they need is from the water itself. And we kind of tried to show this by, so you all of us have these beverages, right? You have your uh, soda, you have your mojito, XYZ. So we recreated these glasses, okay, and we put up saying that these colors. So when you see a mojito, it's green in color. When you see a shikanji, it's say brownish in color. And we said that the color of these beverages that you see is actually the kind of color of the water that these people get in their villages. Okay, it's actually those you have green water, you have yellow water, you have brown water. The kind of water that you enjoy as a beverage is what these people get for drinking purposes, and it kills them. So the campaign was called Save Me from Water. How we did the donation campaign was so you have to donate one of the beverages that you drink in a day. So you drink, say, a mojito. How much will it cost you? 200. Give that money to me. So you donate a beverage so that they get a clean water. Gaurav, the thing was, the client loved this idea, but the fact that it was so stark in pushing it out, I had to try. I went to the same client from the same agency twice to push this idea. They really liked it, and then in a new agency also I went and I tried to push this idea. They also liked it, but somehow this idea never saw light of the day, because it's such a brilliant insight, and it's such a brilliant observation that water that you can save water. You cannot take a shower for 4 days and save that water. The idea is that for them to have clean water. So the need of the water treatment plant is more necessary than a water pumping plant, right? Because there is water that exists. It's just not clean enough for them to have it. So this was one of the ideas. And obviously there was a lot of hoo-ha, the website and all the detailings of it that kind of added the wow factors to it. But principally, this was the insight that we worked on, and we thought it was such a refreshing take on how you look at all these water conservation ads. Yes, Gaurav, but it was really challenging to sell it to the client. We sold it, but it was very challenging to get it executed. So sadly, it still sits in my PPT.
So what all are do's and don't you would suggest while starting your career journey in advertising?
Do's and don'ts. The do's is, so one of my bosses in my journey said that, did you make a plan over a weekday? Did you plan whatever other thing on a weekday? Do you realize how difficult that is in advertising? And I hated her at that point of time, but I just realized, see, we are trying to change that culture in whichever way we can. It is a toxic culture of giving 24 hours to something. But it's not so much physical work than mental work. So, if you're in advertising, one thing to completely go by is, if you're passionate, then only get. Do not look at it as just a job. It does not function like that. You will constantly have 10 people around you who are thinking of it 24/7. And while I know we support working 7 days a week, I'm saying that even if you want to give it 12 hours, make sure that the 12 hours you are dedicating to it. If my work starts, say, from 10 in the morning, the entire day, I am so engrossed in it, because the ideas can come anywhere, right? I don't have to sit in front of my laptop all the time. I will be sitting, maybe eating, but I'm constantly thinking. So one thing for people is to know, if you want to get into advertising, please make sure that you are passionate enough for it. You are not someone who just likes, you're not just a content writer. And Gaurav, I recently am coming out with a course on advertising, and for this specific reason, because I wanted kids to kind of know what really goes behind it, right? Secondly, just be open to the idea of not just being a copywriter. So, while there are different people with different roles, a lot of responsibility lies with the copywriter in advertising. So if you're joining as a copywriter, the responsibility on you lies to hold the fort. So while you're talking to the designer, also you're talking to the client servicing, also you're getting all things together. So there's a lot of responsibility. So like I said, go in if you have passion. Go in if you feel that. Don't go in if कि यार और कुछ करने को नहीं है. This is what I did. मैंने तो यार अब ये कर लिया, अब English honors कर लिया, अब क्या करूँ आगे. people come there out of choice. People don't come there out of compulsion. It's there are a lot of places where you can go out of compulsion, gives you a lot of money and all of that. Advertising may get ready to work your way up, genuinely work your way up. It doesn't matter you come with 5 degrees or 10 degrees. You have to work your way up. And don't be hesitant to join at any stage. You're 30, 40, you can join advertising, honestly. If you're really, really good at it. Do's being that, come with a very open mind. You have the power to change how people perceive society. So come with that, agenda in mind. And always look for your personal growth. Because see, we give so much to the company, so it is a given that you're contributing the company's growth. What are you doing for yourself is the question. Are you working on ideas that, so Gaurav, this is a very big thing in a lot of people who are in advertising, that while they say, like I told you 2 ideas right now, right? Both of them didn't see light of the day. I have so many of them. Why? Because I always felt that even if it doesn't get executed, it's something I'm doing for myself, something that goes in my portfolio. If I give you 3-4 ideas, you will get an idea of, acha, this is how she thinks, right? I am showing you my capabilities, and that is my personal growth. That is not for a company, right? And people get so lost because they spend so much time working on the brands, they don't focus on their personal growth. You are not good getting a great brand to work on. It's okay. I used to do that. Whenever I had, like, say, 2 very boring brands to work on, I would either get involved with brands and some other people also, just to, give my creative juices flowing. Or at night, I would sit and I would write copy. So you have to constantly, because it's such a fast-paced environment. And that's why there's another don't, is that if you feel you can't get into a fast-paced environment, don't. It has nothing to do with extrovert or introvert. Both people work. You're good at what you do. You don't have to do small talk. But it's such an industry of perception. It's such an industry of perception that it's so important for you to hit the right nail at the right time. And that is why just keep working. So it's pretty much the same, Gaurav. I think if you have the right intentions in terms of your personal and professional growth, this question that people ask, what are you going to do 5 years down the line? Nobody knows. What I would probably know is how I want to steer my life, at least. Like, I want to kind of maybe go towards writing. So I think that's very important for people to know who want to get into advertising, that don't go by what you see there. Oh, cool people, tattoos, hair color. That's not it. Perception, yes. Perception is very important. But your work speaks a lot. Work with a responsibility and an agenda to kind of do something, because such a great responsibility. It's not like how they show advertising agencies, they're toxic, they're taking away, every time you see anywhere there's an ad, they are, you have the right to, while you're showing them all of them, what are you showing them is what you have the, right to change. You have the responsibility and you have the opportunity to change. So I think that's something, if you really have something like that in mind, you should definitely go for advertising, because it gives you that opportunity.
So who should not join advertising?
I think people who feel that jobs are 9 to 5 should definitely not join advertising. And we can have a lot of conversations on how advertising culture will change. They can give you 5 day off, 4 day off, 3 day off, but it's not for people who think jobs are 9 to 5, very clearly. For a lot of people, they keep saying that advertising, when you're there, you can't hold relationships and all of that. To a certain extent, it is true, because it takes a lot of life. Obviously, it depends a lot on you also, who want to give a lot of weightage to their personal life, a lot of weightage. Because see, after a point, I've seen so many people leaving advertising after they get married, because it's difficult to match up to that intensity. That creativity comes with a framework, which people don't realize. In advertising, they think, acha, we can think of whatever we want. You have your client filter, you have your boss filter, you have your colleagues filter. You have those 3 filters which you work with. So by the time whatever you send goes out is not the first thing you thought of, right? So if you think that you are a good writer, advertising is not about writing. It's about writing plus majorly ideas. So it's a very big myth that I want to clear right now, because people think, मैं तो इतना अच्छा लिखती हूँ, मेरा blog है, मैं advertising करूँगी. I am not saying you can't do it, but don't think that that's the job. The job is to 90% think of ideas. See, writing is just packaging it. What we do is we pick a red apple, we package it like green, and we sell it as green apple. right? And people buy it. So that selling of it as green apple is where your writing comes through. But the idea of how to do that is where your ideation comes. So people who think that they're just decent writers, technical writers, informational writers, I'm not saying they should not go for advertising. Like I said, Gaurav, advertising is one profession open for all, right? You feel like doing it tomorrow, you can do it tomorrow. But you have to be very sure the reason why you're joining advertising. Like I said, it's a career option by choice. People leave their high paying jobs. I know people who've left their high paying jobs and have come to advertising to start from scratch. So I think fun is ensured, but it comes with a lot of late nights.
So now we will start our rapid round.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Your favorite actor and actress?
My favorite actress, Rani Mukherjee, and actor would be Amir Khan, maybe.
Your favorite color?
My favorite color is black.
Your favorite destination?
Favorite destination, anything that has a lot of hills and a lot of cold. Anything. I mean, in India, if you were to ask, it has to be Himachal.
Your favorite car?
Favorite car, my one true love has always been Honda City, Gaurav, and nobody, nobody has ever even come close to that car. So yeah.
Your favorite boss?
Rahul Rotela, I think, will always be my favorite boss.
Things in your wish list?
Things in my wish list, I want to make cabin in the woods, travel as much as I can.
The dream house?
My dream house is something in nature, and I think that, after I hit a certain age, I would want to kind of live in a place like that and work from there.
Second choice of career?
I would like to be a full-time author and just work on a lot of books that I have.
Your favorite book?
My favorite book has to be Gone with the Wind.
Any one thing that you would like to change if you are Project Superpower?
I think I would like to have equal work pay for women.
So at last, one line that defines you.
It's not a line that defines me, but it's a line that I kind of go by, is don't let life happen to you. You decide how you want the life to be. And I think at every conscious decision you make, you change that life. Be the shoulder that you're looking for, right? You be the shoulder.
Thank you very much for your time, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, and same to you, and very good luck with this series of yours. It's a very good initiative, like I said before, and I really hope you get a lot of success.
Thank you for watching our show, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.